Let Us Out. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was really fun and really well done. I think that one of the kind of, not tropes, but one of the things that someone that is very artistic can kind of be not saddled with, but a common thing that a lot of them experience, and not just with artists, but with anybody with something they're passionate about, is kind of being caught up, being swept up in whatever that passion is, and having to remind yourself to take breaks, or set timers to remind yourself to eat or rest or whatever, take intentional time away from what you're doing. I think it's something that like workaholics have. I think it's like when you've started a business, that's kind of like your pride and joy. When you're an artist and you're creating, I think a lot of these, even though it's applied in different circumstances, I think a lot of that is kind of being caught up and swept up in something that you're passionate about. And I think that it is definitely something that also happens to artists. And this takes that just a little bit liberally or literally, with literally being like swept up, dragged into your own art, which I thought was really well done. And I like that they gave the main character a bit of like a bit of grittiness to her, kind of, where obviously when you first kind of meet her, you're like, okay, well, she's probably not doing great. You can see kind of signs of her not like really functioning at like as her best self, as like a human, on like a base level of human needs. And then when the other person comes in, you see that play out even more. There's obviously a history there, there's concern, there's worry, there's doubt, there's a lot of things from someone that obviously cares about her. And I really liked that they added that in, because then it just sows a little bit of doubt into the audience as well of like, what is really happening, and is all of her history truly hers, or is this something else that has played out when you finally do see what's happening with her art and how things have kind of been trapped and consumed by it. I thought it was really, really great. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I thought it like built really well. The timing of it was really good, with how they moved the story along. I thought it was well paced, and absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying to be dragged into something that you have made and be trapped there. Horrifying, but very well done.
Let Us Out. Oh wow. This was so incredibly cool. I loved this. First of all, the cinematography was amazing, and the camera work that they did, how they sold that trepidation and that foreboding with just practical in-camera effects was awesome, and it worked. The story was really engaging. It was very gripping. It kept you interested from the time it started until the time it stopped. I loved the artwork that they had all over the walls. Whoever did that did such a brilliant job with it. The whole film had a really cool, insidious vibe to it, which I liked. And the story was so original that by the time you get to that twist end, you still want there to be more. And that's one of the best compliments that I can give y'all, is that I really want to know what happened to the two women and how they get out of there. So fantastic job on this entire film. It was great.
I really like Let Us Out. I like the lighting. I think the lighting, you talk about using lighting to tell a story, visual medium, like the lighting carried here, I think, like did a lot, and the sound design, which in a thriller and a horror, Sound design is everything. So there's that, but then also the lighting specifically, like so many like moments that were like we understand the story because of the lighting. So MVP, I feel everything was every element was also great, but the lighting stood out to me, and I thought it was masterfully done. 10 out of 10, great job.
Let Us Out. This is a bold, expressive thriller that thrives on its imaginative cinematography and sharp visual storytelling. The script feels alive, dialogue flows naturally, and the main character speaks like a real person, making her descent into psychosis all the more gripping. The way the film pulls us into her unraveling mind is its biggest strength. The surreal visuals blur the line between reality and illusion, which creates an unpredictable and disorienting experience. And the finale is striking, metaphorical, and makes the film overall messy, raw, and ultimately a fascinating dive into fractured perception.